Recently, the channel did really well, and it's for one particular video that I made, and it was to do with Top Gear being a bit rubbish. Well, I'm back this week, and what I'm going to be starting, if you guys want to see it, so if you want to see more of it, you know what to do, the like button, that kind of thing, yeah. Basically, I'm making a series where I'm going to go through every single episode of Top Gear, if you guys want me to keep doing that, as I said, and we'll go through the good and the bad and the cringy and just everything like that. But we're going to start off with my first thoughts on the show. How was this week's compared to last week's? And as you can probably tell by the title, it was actually pretty good. Now, the show was definitely not to the standard of the Clarkson series. It's not the Clarkson series. It will never be the Clarkson series ever again unless they like hire him back, which I highly doubt it because of the whole fracker thing. But it's starting to become its own show in where that we can watch this and also have the other show. Everybody seemed more enthusiastic. Everybody seemed to enjoy it a lot more. Even the audience, there was still a lot of laughter tracks. Well, that's not saying that in the previous series there wasn't any laughter tracks, or basically they had a lot of audience reaction stuff, and I didn't actually notice it in the first series. That may just be me being critical on the fact that it's new people and that kind of thing, but honestly, it felt more natural overall in general when Clarkson did it, if it was, you know, laughing tracks, that sort of thing. But those guys were genuinely funny. A lot of the times when the audience laugh in this series, I don't laugh along with them, because a lot of the time the thing they say isn't that funny. And obviously it's meant to make you laugh. The laughing track is there to make it a bit funnier in a way that's not really wrong in any way, but it's still just rather odd, especially when there's parts of the laughing tracks that cut off before they finish laughing, and it's the same laughter track over and over and over again. If you listen to it, it's the same one over and over and over again, and it's just getting to the point where it's like, Anyway, with the initial thoughts out of the way, I'm going to go through some of the things that happened in the show. I'm going to use some clips from the show. Hopefully the BBC don't sue me, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to show you some of the clips, so obviously it's speak about what I'm going on. It's fair use, BBC, claim this video, I'll go fooper on you. As you know, Chris Evans in the first episode was very shouty. He was shouty in the fact where it's like a kids TV show. It was very off, his voice was very off. It sounded like he was trying too hard. He really was in the studio, but in the actual like programs where they were in the Reliant Robins, that sort of thing, he was very monotone. There was no excitingness in their voices, that sort of thing. But to start off this episode, how did they start it? Well, the intro, here you go.
Tonight, I get even more shouty.
Not exactly what we asked for, Chris Evans, but alright then. But seriously, in a way, I'm glad there's a bit more shouting, because if you watch the first segment where they were driving the McLarens, or Chris was driving the McLarens, honestly, that was really good. Basically, to make Chris Evans good as a presenter, stick him in a car and don't give him ear protection, and then he shouts like he should. Like, doesn't shout like the kid shouting, he shouts like he should, like he's enthusiastic, like he's excited, rather than the kids show. You get it, it works.
This car is ridiculous! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Then I saw Turbo Duck and a few other people tweet about this segment, saying that as okay as he is in this segment, imagine Chris Harris behind the wheel in this segment. And again, that made me think, like, literally, I stand by my original point in the original episode. The best two people in this little thing at the moment, in my opinion, are Rory and Good Chris. If you don't know who Good Chris is, you obviously didn't watch the first video, did you? What are you doing? Good news is that those two are gonna be in the main show, or at least Rory said he is. Going to be in the main show starting from episode 3, so I cannot wait to see how that is. It's going to be much better, and I've got to say overall, even though this episode has been better in general, just at the beginning, overall it was a very much better episode. I can't help but say you should have had the good people in, or the good stuff from the beginning, and scrapped that first episode stuff, because let's be honest, that was shit, and it made a lot of people go, you know what, I don't even want to give this fucking thing a chance. But the second episode really hooked me in. It was actually really enjoyable overall. Now, I mentioned earlier that they put on some like extra tracks into the audio to basically make the laughing louder or more enthusiastic in the audience, and it becomes really obvious after a while. After you look at it, you look at the audience faces as the laugh happens. They don't even facial react. They just kind of keep their straight faces throughout the laugh.
By the way, Matt, thank you for the grapes and thank you for looking after me. You're a very nice person.
Oh, that's nice, yeah. Okay, this car.
And can I just say, I've been analysing this episode all bloody night, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why the hell he's even on a stretcher. I don't get it. Back on topic of the laughter tracks, it's not really a sin because so many things do this. Like obviously those fake shows like, well, I don't know, sitcoms or whatever you call them. But again, it's just more obvious and it shouldn't be this obvious. Into the main challenge or program of Top Gear, if you will, it was an off-roading part in where that they were basically talking about off-roading cars, SUVs, not being made for off-roading anymore, which is something I talk about so often on Twitter, which is actually pretty cool. But yes, they opened it, and I was actually pretty excited.
South Africa, an environment alien to most modern off-roaders. Off-road.
But when they did get to the off-road part, I thought, hey, wait a minute. Didn't we just do an off-road series on the... Oh, are you copying? We got it out first, all right? So you're copying, technically, all right? All right, mate, what are you doing? Then Matt got his balls wet.
Oh, my balls. My balls are wet.
More laughing tracks along with what? Okay, this is one thing that I need to talk about. The whole water splash thing. Now I understand water splashes are it's cool, but when you say yay water splash, it seems like a kitchen. Like, if you're not in the car, I mean, even if you're in the car, be like yay water splash. You don't say that. You'd be like shit. Well, not that you can say that on Top Gear, but you get the idea.
Do you miss your tiny tent?
I don't.
Do you miss your tiny temper?
And the first water splash, it seems fucking cringe. It feels cringe just calling it that, to be honest with you. The first water splash, the audience reacted, or so they apparently did. You know, the track did, the audio track thing, yeah.
Water splash, here we go. Good water, Charlene.
Then we got another fake laugh.
Oh, air, good air. Amazing air.
Come on.
Then we got some footage shown from the previous series, which kind of annoyed me a little bit because in the way that they've basically said how they've cleared the leaderboard, they've cleared everything, they've changed everything, like they've made it a rallycross track, that sort of thing, and then they show a clip from the previous series. Like, I know they own the rights to it. Clarkson doesn't own the rights to the old thing. It just feels a bit odd.
Watch this. Watch this. And.
But to be fair, they did a flibby wibby, can't complain. On the second water splash, there was no cheer, like nothing. There was no sound whatsoever from the audience. So it's like, yeah, the first one was obviously very fucking fake.
And water splash. Yes, thank you very much indeed.
And then the guest said this.
I want to cook up something rather lovely.
I don't even know why I found that funny, to be honest with you, but... And I really, really wanted to make a joke here, honestly. I was thinking about it when I first saw it, and I was like, please tell me one of them is Welsh. And I'm sorry for any Welsh viewers watching now, but I had to say it, okay? It's just, you just have to, okay? It came across my mind.
Oh my God, look, wildebeest.
That's too good to miss. We gotta go and have a crack at that.
Oh yeah, Irish Barry Chucker's gotta have a crack at that. I'm sorry. Another thing about this is how they said keep it quiet. And woman, you clearly know nothing about cars because you're in a fucking diesel. Keep it quiet. I'll keep me tractor quiet, shall I?
Wait, keep it as quiet as you can.
Off-road button. Now this interested me. Not only on a level of the fact that they didn't press it. It was obviously a comedic effect thing. They probably might have not been the first time, but the second time it would have been comedic effect, that kind of thing. But the point is, off-road buttons in SUVs. Honestly, I didn't know that was a thing. I haven't been in a modern SUV. Although if I have, I haven't looked at all the buttons and so you go, oh, look at all these buttons if you sit in the back of an SUV, for example. Well, SUVs, if you don't know, in the UK are ridiculously fucking popular. I don't know how it is in America, probably is the same, but here, Range Rovers sell a damn lot. And I can promise you, without even researching into it, that 99.9% of all fucking Range Rovers ever bought will never see off-road in their lives. Because the people that drive them drive around the city and it's like, the theme of this, like this Top Gear and the Extra Gear was off-roading vehicles. And it annoys me how people don't use the SUVs off-road. They're off-roading cars. And this show showed that it's used off-road. I'm glad they added in little drops in here in this show, throughout the show, saying that people should use them off-road, because that's something I would do. If I was I'd do that. Basically, if your parents have got an SUV and it's never been off-road, make sure they take it off-road. Cheers.
Do you have it in off-road mode?
I don't think so.
At the end of the challenge, there was a race, okay? So this race This race was quite interesting in the fact that they had like a border between where it was no longer Africa, it was a different place. I don't even know. It was a different country, basically. And I believe that that border thing was fake. It wasn't real. Even if it was, the man was obviously informed because cars like rolling up to them at stupid speed and flashing and that sort of thing. I think the best actor here was the guy that looks like Barry Truckle. I'm just going to call him Barry Truckle for the rest of it. But his reaction looks like really, really real of all of them. The least scripted it looked, and it looks like he was almost going to swear at the African man for a second, which was quite funny.
What on earth is this? Keep going! Flash him! Flash, flash, flash! Oh my god, what's he want? Oh, come on, we're in a race, man! Let's go, dig out! Go! Go!
Come on, you stupid British, I mean, you lose your fucking job. It's alright, I'm mixed race. But overall, as I said, this Top Gear episode was pretty darn good. Now, there is a lot to go over on Extra Gear because I actually really enjoyed Extra Gear. The feel of Extra Gear, which I'll go into straight away, is a million times better to me. Now, to start off, we have the racing driver. We have good Chris, the non-shit Chris. He feels like he's obviously is at a racetrack. He does real racing. So he was away on this episode, so they couldn't have him there in the studio, and they explained that. And then they went to a lot of things showing you around this ridiculous car. And oh my god, it felt like it was a really personal connection. The connection that you don't generally get on TV. It's more a YouTube thing. And that's what I like about Extra Gear, I think. It feels more personal overall compared to Top Gear. Everything on Top Gear is really like scripted. I'm not saying Extra Gear isn't scripted at all, because it probably is, and just as much so, if not more. I don't know. But it just felt more personal. Like as if I knew Chris Harris as a friend. And I was actually, well, he was showing me around his new toy or something.
I want to tell you 5 things about what I love about a racing car. The other thing I love is the wing. Look at the carbon wing on this. Isn't it the most fantastic looking car? It's just gorgeous.
Hashtag Big Wang Gang. This bit I'm a bit confused on. So basically, Shit Chris, which is actually not as Shit Chris this episode, or these episodes, what would you call them? Because it's Extra Gear and Top Gear, whatever. He was driving the McLaren F1 and he began crying like a little bitch. Now, this was pretty cool. It made me feel like, I felt like I actually wanted to hug the man. I felt sorry for the man. But honestly, like after listening to his explanation onto why he cried, that sort of thing, it didn't make much sense to me. He was kind of babbling words. It felt as if he did it to kind of get that connection, that the fact that, yes, I am a car guy. I promise I am a car guy. Like a lot of people have been saying about him, anyone can buy a Ferrari and say they're a car guy, except buying the Ferrari bit, because not everybody can buy the Ferrari. But everybody can buy a car and say that they're a car guy. It just, anyone can. And I think that was more of him saying, look, I am a car guy, I promise, rather than actually meaning anything. Because as I said, he babbled a load of shit when he explained what it was. Because it was my first car, my mum, McLaren, sobs. But if that was genuine, and that was him actually sobbing on the camera, that sort of thing, well, done to the man. You cried on TV. Very manly thing to do, okay? Very brave thing of you to do, Chris. Because many memes will be made of your face.
Cars mean so much to me and have done for I'm gonna go again now. And it's about, you know, my mum bought me my first ever car and she couldn't afford it. And so it was about that.
And to round off this episode of Extra Gear, we're going to take a look at the best clip of both of the shows. And this, in my opinion, explains my exact thoughts on SUVs.
What do you think of it?
Do you know what? I don't know about guys here, but I don't get the SUV, right? Particularly if you live in a big city, anywhere.
I think people like the raised ride height. They like to feel like they're in command and lording it over everyone else.
Get on the top deck of a bus. You know what I mean? You don't need, this is not like urban driving, it's just ridiculous.
Now there we are. That was my overview of looking over the last episode, or the recent episode of Top Gear and Extra Gear. There you go. I think this is pretty fun. It's going to be a pretty fun series to do. If you guys want to see more, you know what to do. Leave a like. And let me know your thoughts on the episodes down in the comments. What was your favorite part? Did you feel the cringe in this episode? Honestly, compared to the first episode, I didn't cringe at any point. Throughout the first whole episode, I was cringing through the whole fucking thing. That Viper chasing I don't even want to get into that. That made me cringe so hard. But this episode, I didn't think I cringed once. There were parts where it was really cheesy and it was shit and it was really badly scripted and really badly acted, but they had no monotone that I expected. The music was a million times better. The camera work is amazing as ever. And just overall, I think this Top Gear episode was actually pretty good. If they had opened with this episode, things would have been massively different in my opinion. So I'm now joined by Matthew. Say hello.
Hello!
Now I really just wanted a quick input from you, Matthew, on what you thought overall of the episode.
Right. Well, I took down notes, as you do. A lot of notes. It's actually quite a decent episode, I'm not gonna lie.
But anyway, Matthew, thank you for your input on the latest Top Gear. It was very helpful. And, well, we'll see you in the next one. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It was a good episode in general. And I'm really looking forward to next week because we get Rory and hopefully good Chris in on the main show, which will be really exciting. And I'm now saying that from on the last episode of this, like, series-ish thing, I said how I would like Chris, bad shit Chris, to be gone. Now I'm kind of warming up to him. He's being more himself, in a way. And I think it was probably more just nerves for the first episode, which would kind of make sense. But overall, still a lot of improvements to make, but mostly a much better episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.